bottle. This thing's massive. I know. I'm a little crazy. I just love to drink a lot of water. Okay, you guys want to talk about something really fun today? Okay, here's what's in it for you. If you are someone, raise your hand right now, put me in the chat, or actually put a T in the chat. If you get triggered, put a T in the chat. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a lot of money today. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a lot of money today. If you're someone who triggers somebody else, if you're somebody, you got somebody in your life that you just know you trigger them, right? You might think you're right about it, but you might think that your side's right, but you know that you trigger them. Put me in the chat. Can we just have a vulnerable moment? Put me in the chat if you know that you trigger somebody, right? I don't mean generally, like you actually know the person that you trigger. And so put me in the chat. So I love you guys. I love that you're honest about this. Okay, so I really struggled with content for this week. Can we have a real moment? I struggled with content this week because I give so many strategies on these lives. Is that correct, you guys? How many guys feel like you get a lot of strategies on these calls, right? On these lives I do. It's a lot of strategies. And truth be told, it's like, and I'm working this out right now, but I was sitting there going, gosh, like, I don't like what can I give them that I know they can just do right now that's valuable enough for them to crush it with. And so when you have a lot of, call it input or content, it doesn't necessarily mean it's better. That's why I try and run themes where a whole week, like if you're meant to be live right now, my husband goes live starting today all week and does the money week. Have you guys ever heard this? Busy people always fail. Let me flip it. Overcommitted people always fail. So if I'm giving you a bunch of content and this is bogging up your brain, is it helping? Yes or no? Is it helping? Yes or no? Don't say yes because you want me to do all the content, okay? Just yes or no. No, it's not. And so some of you guys have a project you're working on. I'm gonna put project, could be a marketing campaign, could be a live event, could be a book. Maybe you're creating a course right now and you wanna keep putting more content because you wanna be good. You want to be helpful, right? You want to make a difference for people, right? Are you guys following me? How many of you guys have ever fallen into this pit before? Put the word pit in the chat, where you have over-delivered to the level that you are like, I just don't want somebody to come into contact with me and not get what they want. Put the word pit in the chat if that has happened to you. It's happened to everybody, okay? So I've had the utmost best heart or intention to be able to theme out the content so that you learn. And I've gotten messages. People have told me how much money they've made. People have told me how relationships have been helped. I mean, I get a lot of feedback on thank you, which for you guys who send me thank yous, thank you. I appreciate that. It means the world to me. It really does. It means the world to me. And I don't want to be efficient with you. I want to be effective with you. And so I'm going to take this to you and then I'm going to show you what I'm doing, okay? And so you got to start somewhere, like whatever project you're working. You got to start somewhere. And when you start, inevitably, you're going to see some problems. This is where a lot of people stop. They get triggered. They get emotional. Right? You do all this work, create a product or a service, and then you put it out there and nobody shows up to the webinar. Or you create this amazing content for a challenge and nobody shows up to the challenge. Or you write a book, you put it on Amazon and only your friends bought it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, like I'm not getting anywhere fast and it's driving me crazy because I'm doing all this work. Right? So you can take the word content, you put the word work. I'm doing all this work, but I'm not getting anywhere. This is what I call leadership. I don't have a leadership offer to give you right now, but I'm telling you, for you guys who follow me long term, I can't get any more legit to you because some of you guys might think the only time I talk about leadership is when I'm selling leadership. No, it is everything. Okay, so if you keep believing that you're doing a lot of work and not getting anywhere fast, then you're stuck. And the problem with being stuck is nobody stays in one place. So you will either blame other people for the fact that you're not hitting the mark. And some of you guys have an honest moment, right? Like you either blame other people, like my assistant doesn't know how to spell, or I'm just making this up, right? Like it's like you either blame other people for they're the reason why you can't hit the mark because you're working so hard, or you just feel bad and you pull back and you retract and you just kind of stop. Okay, but you're moving. You're either moving back in fear because you feel like, I don't know what to do, I feel stuck, or like you're working, you pull back because it's not working out the way you want it to, or you blame other people. And have any of you guys listened to Brandon's book, 9-Figure Mindset? I know 9 figures is a lot, and I know some of you guys probably don't, like you might think, well, I'm not really there, it doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm saying the way you get there, if you've heard anything about, if you've heard anything that I've ever said to you guys about the importance of proximity, also pay attention to, I'm very much into God. But I do not listen to audiobooks on how to talk to God 24/7. I just don't. I read my scripture every day, and then I work on my mind. So the guy who wrote this book, Brandon Dawson, 9-Figure Mindset, I really recommend you guys read it. I actually gave it to 2 people on my team that I want to read it. And what I hear, you might hear something different. What I hear in 9-Figure Mindset is the fact that he had a very, very, right at the very beginning of the book, he has a very, very good friend of his that he was golfing with. And his friend, he was complaining, he sold his company and he had to stay on. And he's complaining about all the people in the company. Right? Okay, you're working really hard. You're complaining because you're hitting problems. And so you're either blaming other people. So Brendan was a blamer, right? Or you just get stuck and you stop and you just say, it just doesn't work for me. Like that's such bullshit. It doesn't not work for you. You just didn't bust through because you got overwhelmed, and overwhelmed people never win. Right? So Dawson sells his company. He's got to stay on. He's on the golf course and he is completely complaining. You'll hear his story if you get the book. He's completely complaining. His friend pulls over and literally says to him, I can't remember the exact words, but it's like, what you think about, you'll speak about, and what you speak about, you'll basically lead yourself to that result. And his friend told him that his friendship is over with him if he's going to keep operating that way. This is one of his close friends that literally looks him in the eye. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. 98% of you would be offended if somebody said that to you. 98% of you, I know it, maybe even 99. If you had a friend that just said, hey, Kelly, I love you, you're amazing, but the truth is I don't want to hang out with you anymore because all you do is complain about the people that you work with, and all you do is complain about what you're working on. And if you keep complaining about it, you're just going to lead your life right off a cliff, and I'm not going off that cliff with you because thoughts are viral. And there is nobody, this data is not a Shandaism. There is nobody that can withstand poor thinking, which is why you have to be in an atmosphere of rising people up, and offended people always end up leaving. You know why they leave? Because they get pissed off at you and they walk. And they're the blamers that don't take any responsibility for the fact that they're causal. It's actually a major self-worth issue. Do you see what I'm saying? Often it shows up as an authority complex. So I know I'm going way in the game of leadership right now, but it's deep, and you got to keep unhooking yourself, right? So Dawson looked at his good friend and accepted the feedback. We call it feedback in hardcore leadership. Accepted the feedback, right? And so accepted the feedback and ended up mentoring with his good friend who, this is what leaders do, they don't create to-do lists. He brought him to his house that day and started working with him. Okay, whole nother story. Secondly, Dawson read pretty much every book, John Maxwell, who Dawson is not, from what I understand, I don't believe he's like a huge God person. I don't know that for sure. So don't quote me on that, but John Maxwell definitely is. But what he knew was John Maxwell is incredible at leadership. If you're in a position right now that you're wanting to grow teams, you should be studying his podcast or reading his books. Okay, so leaders call people up. And people who are not ready to be leaders, they choose themselves out because it can feel offensive, you guys. Like, I was a girl that never liked to take feedback. I remember a good friend of mine wanted to mentor me in real estate, and I couldn't sit still. Like, I couldn't sit still because I didn't realize I had busy energy as intimacy challenges. I didn't realize how deep my intimacy issues were. So I kept myself in the weeds, overwhelmed all the time. Does that make sense? And I blamed everybody else for it. But it was a complete blind spot. I didn't know what I didn't know. John Maxwell's leadership training. I actually read his leadership Bible. Anyway, so in this book, I loved it because Dawson literally, so I miracle walk, right? So part of my miracle walk is I'll listen to something like this, then I turn it off, and then I freaking go after it. I'm like, boom, this is what I'm creating, right? Now, I will also tell you that Brandon, if you meet Brandon on the street and he hears you not take responsibility in any way for your results, he won't hang out with you. He will never return your phone call, and he's not coming back, right? This was out of his mouth when I was in Florida with him last year. And I loved his vulnerability because he said, I don't have the ability to not become like you. He didn't say those words, but it was like, if you hang out with people who are constantly bitching and complaining, what do you think you become? You don't have enough willpower to go to the top. So now I'm very well aware that some of you guys are married to people like that. Some of you guys are people like that, and somebody's married to you, right? And so this is kind of, if you can hear me right now, this is kind of, call it a cry from heaven, an empathy cry to say that things can shift. But I don't know anybody at real financial freedom that doesn't have incredibly thick skin. Incredibly thick skin. I don't know anybody at the highest level of success that does not have incredibly thick skin. So I just wanted to come on today, and I just wanted to be a birdie in your ear, right? I'm going to stream today, I'm going to stream tomorrow, and then I'm going to teach my List Power Intensive workshop. Another great opportunity. If you don't have enough people to speak to and you can't practice leading people, right? Like I remember my clients, like they were paying, I think it was like $500 a month at that time. They wanted all my private time. And I remember thinking to myself, well, then pay for it. Like, you kidding me? You're paying $500 a month, and you also want me to be on calls with you every week and privately. I'm like, pay for it. But what I was missing, because I was triggered at that time, I hadn't done leadership yet. What I was missing because I was triggered was I needed to hear it as, oh, your clients are tapping on you for another product or program. They're actually saying they want more of you. They want you to create something different. And if I would have been smart at that time, which eventually I did get smart, right? Great mentors are priceless. I mean, they're not a cost, they are a massive investment, right? But I literally, at first I went from being offended, which means you're missing money. Because I was so offended that my clients were asking for more from me. This was like way back when I started my business, when really they were asking for more. They were asking for me to lean in, get intimate, and hear, is there a pattern of what they keep asking me for? It's like right now, Meant to Be Live, I'm getting a lot of questions in my mastermind on how do I lead a program at a glance? Like, how do I actually lead a retreat? Like the actual content in a retreat. How do I lead that effectively? How do I lead, events in other countries? How do I build teams around me? This is a big request from my community. And it's not necessarily something that I'm normally teaching them. And so I'm like, note taken. I get to go create a masterclass for them now and actually train it for them. Do you think all of them are going to need that? No. But the majority of them that are asking for that, they feel heard because I'm listening. They're tapping on me and I'm listening to what they're asking for. Does that make sense, you guys? So when you're triggered, you can't hear what people are really saying. All you hear is noise. You hear noise. You hear it's like a gnat, get off me. It's like a gnat. It feels irritating. I just gotta get away. You know what I mean? It feels irritating. When really what it is it's a call for a system to be created. This morning, I told Denise this morning I did a bunch of stuff that honestly is not in my department. It's in a different department inside the company. And I literally started to create an SOP around it, which I'm committed to being done today on the SOP because it is not my job. And I'm not going to stand there and blame somebody and say, oh my gosh, why aren't they doing it? I mean, initially it feels like that, right? Because you're human. But I go, if I'm irritated or triggered by it, it means that there is a call to step up and create something. And in this case, it was a call for me to create an SOP, Andrea, is a system. So this morning I wrote an email, then I wrote a post for Mentor Me Live and I posted it in Mentor Me Live. And, I just did some things that really I've talked about a million times. It's not being done efficiently. And so I can blame other people and get mad and be completely right about it because it's not my department. I can be completely right about it. But how caring is it to be mad at somebody that doesn't know what to do? That's almost like telling somebody to not feel sad. Stop feeling sad. You just broke up, get over it. How empathetic is that? It's not, but it takes you to notice when you're triggered to go, okay, I'm triggered, which means it's a priority, which means I'm not much of a leader if I quit, blame, right? Blaming eventually will quit, right? Someone who blames eventually will quit. And if you're that person, by the way, just know some of the top leaders in the world have been blamers. Okay. And so it's not that something's wrong with you, but it is a call to wake the F up. You know what I mean? And go, if you're blaming somebody, it's because you know how to fix it. And you're just not taking the time to fix it. And if you take the time to fix it, either you're going to train somebody, and training doesn't mean just telling somebody what to do. We just trained somebody on our team in Pinterest. Okay, I cannot train them on Pinterest because that's not my strength. But I knew I needed to be on Pinterest because of SEO marketing. And I wanted organic search engine optimization. And I have a lot of women who follow me. I have a lot of men too, but I have a lot of women that follow me. And there's a ton of really professional women on Pinterest. And so I've been wanting to go into Pinterest. So finally I said, enough. I've talked about it a million times. It pisses me off. Nobody's implemented it. Nobody in the marketing department, nobody in operations. So see my blame, right? That's my authentic blame. That pisses me off. That's real. But I can either stay triggered and be right on something failing or be right on, oh, the company should be doing this a long time ago. No. I solved the problem. I went and brought somebody in to train somebody specific and they crushed it. They increased over 3,000, almost 4,000, 3,500 approximately more organic views coming to our stuff in a month. That's incredible. That's incredible, you guys. Yeah, right? It's like, that's incredible. So now today I met with them to double down on that, right? Double down the next 30 days, then double down again. So we're going to go to 15 posts a day for next 30 days, 15 posts a day. And then we're going to move after 30 days to 30 posts a day, right? And now I'm going to two of my other friends, one specifically who's really good at Pinterest, to ask her, what should be my KPIs? In other words, what are the goals? What are the goals that are smart goals with this? What price point can I sell at? Can I, what does this look like for KPIs? This is what I want to do. Will that work with this traffic? Or how, not will it work? How do I make it work with that traffic? And I will get a breakdown on that. Then I will take that as a leader back to that department. And by the way, they know what I'm doing. Why would I tell them? Because I want them to lead like that. I know the day that this company is running well, I have taught people to think like that. Does that make sense? I just don't think there's any problem. When people tell me there's a problem, I'm like, no, you're triggered. And you haven't backed down enough off your trigger to become a great leader. Because great leaders get triggered, but they don't stay triggered. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Like, humans get triggered, but they don't stay triggered. They quickly shift off of it. So what if the amount of money you make this year is completely connected to how quickly you can get off your trigger? Bingo. That's it. So the next time you want to be right, offended, irritated, take something personal, tell somebody they're rude, why don't you stop and go, why am I really triggered here? And here's the kicker. If there was no one to blame, right? If John, Susie, Tom, whatever, if they were not the reason why you're triggered, why are you really triggered? If you took out the person that you think caused the trigger, and you just took them out, you're not allowed to ever say their name or blame them. Why are you really triggered? What is it bringing up for you? That's what needs to be handled. And when you handle that with assertive action to solve your problem, you already know how to solve your problem. I need to find somebody who does Pinterest. I need to, you know what I mean? Like, I need to find somebody who can do a lead magnet. I need to find somebody who can take my idea and make it a free gift. I need to figure out how to create my own free gift myself. You already know your way through it. The challenge is you're not doing it. And who does that fall on? This is where I feel good about myself. And you should feel good about this too. If we can turn anything around by just paying attention to what we're triggered by, the minute you remove that trigger, it means you've solved a problem. The number of problems you can solve in a year is directly equated to the amount of money you make. Does that make sense, you guys? Put yes if you understand what I'm saying, right? The number of problems you solve in a year is directly equated to the amount of money you make. So last week, I asked you all for the month of May to see if you could fail a lot. And I asked people who were listening, I said, literally put up on a wall how many times you failed in a month. I think my husband's bringing me a protein shake. Wow, this is a first. Hi. This is a first. You guys are all going to witness this. Hi.
Hola.
What are you doing? What's this?
Smoothie.
He's bringing me a smoothie. Does it have protein in it or juice?
It's got everything.
It's got everything?
Oh, it's loaded.
Loaded with that what?
With everything.
You want to say hi?
To who?
It's on demand.
What's up, everybody? Let me get my hair right first. Oh, hi, everybody. Good to see you all.
What's in it?
It's berries and stuff. It's good stuff.
Is there any protein in it?
I'm sure there's some protein.
You have no protein in this, do
I don't know
you?
what's in it and what's not.
Oh, you didn't make it?
Oh, I made it by myself.
You made it?
Oh, yeah. It's blood, sweat, tears.
Are you serious?
As I was making it, I was tearing up.
Get out of here. Thank you. He's Persian, so Persians have everything is berries and fruit, and there's typically no actual protein in it, but I'm going to take it. Look at that. Do you think let's do a vote. Did Ash make this or did Giselle, our house manager, make this? Put G for Giselle, A for Ash. Put G for Giselle or A for Ash. Come on. I'm going to give him the credit anyway because he brought it to me. So sweet. Okay, we're going to end on this. That didn't trigger me. That was great. He missed his morning meeting with me. That's why I think that's being delivered. And I was a good wifey. I did not get triggered. I waited for 10 minutes and then I walked by and I said, babe, I love you. And I'm going to move on with my day. He goes, what? I go, we had a meeting 10 minutes ago. He goes, ah. I'm like, bye. But let me tell you, I wanted to be triggered. But I know the health of my marriage is connected to my triggers. I know the health of my bank account is connected to my triggers. And the more triggers we can solve in a year, you will make the money. So whatever, this is a Dan Sullivan thing, whatever you track, you will grow. So if you want money to grow, start tracking it. Track every dollar you spend, track every dollar you make. And if you do that by default, you will start to prioritize and get hungrier. Okay, I just saw a good friend of mine just posted online and said I was getting too comfortable, so I emptied my bank account, right? A lot of people don't understand that. It's a good thing. If you have an empty bank account right now, it can cause a good hunger. The thing is once it starts to fill up, there's a chill moment. If you're in a chill moment, listen to me when I say this. It's going to sound awful, but try not to be offended because that trigger will hurt you. That's weak. Okay, when you get into chill mode, that's weak. I am very thankful I'm not married to a chill man. I am very thankful. Because when life hits you upside the head and you have somebody who chills, it's a real problem. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to go to Barbados and have a great time. Doesn't mean we don't go to Italy and kick back. But we work very much in a hustle because there's people that are counting on us and we have high standards and we're aggressive to help people. We're aggressive. And I don't know anybody who's not that is successful. So you're gonna work, you're either gonna work your life away or you're gonna work and get freedom. You're working, period. I'd rather work and get freedom. It takes a different level of aggression. I know a lot of people don't like that word, but it's true. Okay, it's true. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's true. It's get up, move, get things done. Nothing goes on the to-do list. Just handle it right now. Create a template for things you keep getting asked about and just handle the triggers. And that's how you know you're a phenomenal leader. I'll end on that. Bye, you guys on social media. I'll talk to you soon. So much love. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. California time.